everyone to another episode of Bodies, Barbells and...
Bagels!
Hello.
Love me a bagel.
Hello, Shawnee. It's been a little while.
Yeah, did the last one without me.
I know.
Vanished me.
I know. What did you think of that one?
Which one was it? It was the 30 or 30, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe you're 30.
I know.
I'm dating a 30-year-old.
You're 33.
Yeah, well... I think that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. Sorry about our little shitty intro there. We do apologise for being a little bit absent the last week and a bit. We kind of just had some time off for my birthday, really, to be honest.
We're one episode behind, but you know what? Your birthday is kind of important because it was your 30th.
I actually took 2 whole days off work, which was very strange for me.
It's a rarity.
It is. Normally we record these on the weekend or like late at night, so it's actually been nice to have a little bit of a break, but don't worry, we are back in full force.
What did you do on your 2 days off?
Can't even remember.
Saturday you probably did some work.
I think I did. Yeah.
So I took 2 days off of the clients in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then worked at home.
Yeah.
And then we went out on Sunday. Oh, you went out with friends
I
on
had
Sunday.
I didn't open my laptop besides for 2 comp client check-ins on Sunday, and that was it. So, yes, thank you, clients. They didn't bug me or anything on my birthday, and they were very respectful. So thank you, guys. It is hard when you, I think, work for yourself and run a business like ours to have time off. It doesn't really bother us because I love what I do and so do you, but sometimes when you just want like a whole day where you just literally don't have to open your computer, like that can be a little more taxing, but that's okay, you know, that's part of it, part and parcel, pros and cons.
Yeah.
Pro is that we also can be more flexible with our hours and schedules, so you can fit things in. But anyway, let's get into today's podcast.
Let's talk about pooping and stuff.
Yeah, pooping and stuff. So we're going to be talking about gut health today. It has been a highly requested topic. I feel like gut health, the word gut health is a very generalized term. So today in the episode, we're going to be breaking that down in a lot more detail, explaining to you how the digestive tract actually works and the gastrointestinal tract, I should say.
Because I feel like no one actually knows what the gut or guts are or is.
Yeah. So you hear a lot of like GI discomfort or GI issues, but what is that actually talking about? So we want to explain that to you guys a little bit better so that hopefully when it comes to potentially purchasing products or things out there that you're a little smarter and more savvy, with what you want to spend your time on, rather than just looking at your diet and maybe making some changes there, because for the most part, our guts are very efficient naturally, and then we mess with them with all these different things and sometimes make it worse. So
more often than not, make it worse.
Exactly.
What should I take to fix my guts? Well, we're going to tell you today. Probably nothing.
Well, you're going to fix your diet, though.
Your diet now.
Exactly, and other variables. So we'll be explaining that. We'll also be covering IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome, which is one of the probably most common issues for bloating and stomach discomfort, irregular bowel movements. That's why it's called irritable bowel.
Would you say it's as overdiagnosed as the glutens?
The glutens.
Yeah. I'm allergic to the glutens. Everyone's allergic to the glutens, or everyone's got IBS. So.
Well, you know, like people with IBS generally avoid gluten, so it's part and parcel. But I mean, I don't think it is overdiagnosed because, to be honest, when I'm so such a fan of this topic because I struggle with IBS myself, and I went to 3 doctors that all said that I didn't have it. And that said that no, like they couldn't figure it out. Like my normal pooping habit would be probably once every 3 days.
Ooh, fuck.
Yeah, and that's been since I was about 10 years old.
Wow.
So I have been struggling with going to the toilet. Like my mum fed me very healthy food as a child. I was a bit of a fussy eater, but she just couldn't figure it out. And she was always constantly like, you know, making smoothies and different things and trying different bits and pieces, and I just have always been someone that's been super constipated, which is not a comfortable feeling, especially when I was a runner, and like I'd get worse. I get nervous before a race and I couldn't poo. Most people get the nervous shits, but I'd be the nervous constipation. So I think it really got me involved in this, and basically what happened with mine is I went to a few different doctors because I was always bloated, always had stomach pain, couldn't poop properly. They didn't really look into it in that much depth. And then when I was at university studying nutrition, I remember one of my teachers, and we started talking about IBS, and Dr. Sue Shepherd, and she's basically one of the biggest sort of with people in Australia that have ever talked about gut health, and she's pretty well known around the world now. So if you go on the Sue Shepherd Works on her website, she created an app. She's created certain different things around IBS. So basically that got me much more interested in it, and I started to learn about, you know, the fact that I always thought, which I'm sure a lot of people listening to this, I always thought if I ate a clean diet that my stomach would be efficient, that I would poop and that I would go to the toilet, and I was eating so quote unquote clean. I was eating, you know,
all the broccoli.
Yep, all the salads, so much vegetables, so much fruit, chicken breast, eggs, you know, very basic food. I tried cutting out grains, that didn't work. I tried cutting out gluten, that didn't work. I tried so many different things and nothing really changed. So then that got me into IBS, but we'll get into that in a little bit more depth later on, but that's definitely one big one we're going to be talking about today. Yep. So let's start off with the tips. Tip for him this week.
Do you want me to do mine first?
Yeah, that's what I said for him.
Well, mine's going to be on the topic related, because I know yours isn't really on the topic.
Pooping?
Kind of. It's more about digestion. So for me, it's protein intake, especially with guys. I think women are kind of the opposite. You don't eat enough protein more often than not. I think guys eat more often than not too much protein.
Yeah.
There's nothing...
Because guys think protein and think gains.
Yeah, and they think the more protein I eat, the more gains I'll get.
And girls think if they eat too much protein, they'll get too big.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting too bulky. I better cut back on that protein shake. I wish that was the issue. I'd eat 10 protein shakes a day.
Eat them.
Yeah. Chew them. But yeah, I think guys inherently eat way too much protein. And then they say to me their guts are fucked in my view. And it's like, well, it's probably one of the issues. More protein you eat, the harder it is to push through you as well. So you need to make sure your fibre is on point as well. But you see these... I was reading a thread on the old Tinterweb the other day. I hate the way I say that.
Makes no sense.
And it's a northern thing, northern English thing.
You're in Australia, mate.
I was on Tinterweb the other day.
It sounds like Tinder on the internet.
Well, it's not Tinder, it's Tinterweb.
Whenever Sean used to say it to me, he'd be like, I'm on the Tinterweb. And I'm like, what are you doing on Tinder?
Tinder. I'm not on Tinder, I promise. And some people were saying they were eating 450 to 650 grams of protein a day, which is fucking stupid.
And what's the Australian RDI for males?
As a WHO recommendation, 46 grams for women, 54 grams per day.
I think it's 60 on the Australian guidelines.
Now it's gone up to 60, hasn't it? Wow, jeez. So that's pretty much one of my meals.
On the NH,
one and a bit of my meals, yeah. So I think we eat too much milk, and let's go there and just say the science says that.
I would say the bodybuilding community overeats protein.
Yeah. There's huge studies coming out at the moment saying that 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight is what you should be looking at. And for me, it comes down to, are you someone that really likes to eat? I like to eat protein. Like, I like a steak, I like chicken, I like my proteins. I like the proteins. Protein. Whereas some people don't. They get really full up and it doesn't digest very well. So you'd obviously push more to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight, whereas I like it, so I push more to 2.2. There's nothing wrong with going over 2.2 if you're someone that's still because protein is really satiating. But if you're then complaining of digestive issues, or you're doing 400 grams of protein and 50 grams of carbs, you could probably use those calories better for carbs if you're a weight training person or an athlete.
Especially if you're constipated.
If you're constipated, exactly. More carbs, more fibre, less constipation. So think about that. Look at your diet. 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Not pound, because then that's fucking stupid. But that's what some people do. They say 2 grams per pound of body weight.
And I would say as a generalisation, most guys eat too much protein, not enough vegetables, and girls do the opposite. Too much veg, not enough protein. Probably
why 70% of women have IBS. Too many fucking veggies.
They've inflamed their guts for so many years that it's now so sensitive to things.
That's my thing. So if you're someone that, and if you say you eat 2.2 grams per kilogram, and you're thinking, fuck, that's really low, because I go a little bit more than that because I like it, but I don't get digestive issues. I push up to say 2.5.
Yeah, you've got guts of steel.
I've got guts of steel. I can eat a 2 kilogram steak in one meal and think, all right, what's for dessert?
Yeah, I can eat a fair bit of protein and it not be too bad. I could probably push to like 180, 200 grams and probably be okay. But
do you need
I wouldn't. I don't need to. And when I'm dieting, I kind of need to drop protein because I need to drop calories.
Protein and carbs, same amount of calories per gram, so you may as well chop 50 grams of protein.
I'd rather keep some carbs. Exactly.
Because
then my digestive system works better.
Exactly. So there you go, my simple tip.
Well, my tip is completely off topic today. Very unrelated.
But very important.
I'll be very honest with you guys. I did think of it about 5 minutes ago. But so my tip for her this week is, well, it's kind of a two-parter, but basically it's pretty simple though. If you are, I guess, females in particular, and I've chatted to a few clients this week and they've been really struggling with, I guess, self-comparison and self-worth, especially when they go on social media. And social media is kind of a double-edged sword. It's like, I see it as a good and a bad thing. I try to focus on the positives in the sense that the content I put out is trying to help females and not hinder them, and trying to, promote, I guess, honest content and whatnot. Now, I'm not here to rag on anyone, but I'm just here to say, it was funny because I was in the gym this morning and I was by myself training, and I was trying to film some videos for Instagram, setting it up on a little tripod in the corner, and I was sweaty and gross, and the lighting was really bad.
Standard.
And I looked at the videos and I was like, oh yeah, they look all right, but they don't really flatter my physique that well. And I guess the point of this is saying that if you're looking at videos of girls online training and they look absolutely flawless, they've got these amazing angles where their glutes look full and everything looks tight and they're all tanned and flawless, it's that not everyone has a camera person following them around when they train. That's not the reality. And I just want to say to the females out there, stop being so hard on yourself. If you're, watching some fitness model that has 3 million followers and they have someone walking around taking photos of them, and they have their hair and makeup done for the gym, and they've got a fresh spray tan every time. They're never posting photos when they look pasty, because everyone knows that a spray tan makes you look about 5% leaner. So, exactly.
Scientific fact.
Yeah.
A spray tan and a haircut.
Exactly.
That's how you get
hair extensions for girls. Yeah. So I guess my tip is it's not to say don't believe it, because it's obviously what they look like, which is great. But at the same time, they're showing their highlight reel. They're showing the best, and don't be too hard on yourself if your shitty gym video that you look at when you film it looks horrible and is from a bad angle, and all you're doing is trying to film it to look at your form. That's what it's there for. So yeah, same with progress photos. You take them at your worst angles. You don't post your progress photos very often online, because everyone does it with no makeup on, in the morning, fresh-faced, all of that, and you don't see a lot of that. So I just want to say to women, be realistic, know what you're looking at, and also don't then compare that to yourself, and get a spray tan. Makes you feel leaner. Yeah. Makes you feel much leaner.
I think that's why people, when they send us progress pictures, are like, fuck, is that what I look like? Yeah. So, yeah, that is what you look like.
Yeah, it's not your best angle, yeah.
And that's the whole point of it. And then they see, the Instagram shit, and they're like, but that person looks like that. It's like, that person also looks like you when they wake up and relax. They do their very early morning photos, exactly.
They're not twisting their body, and they're not rotating things. They're not maybe using Adobe,
exactly,
those things. Yeah.
So, I've spoken to some of the big bodybuilders, and they still say the same thing. They're like, fuck, I look like shit in my progress pictures.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Should motivate.
Train harder.
If you look good in your progress photos, you know that you're going to look even better on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, with the old tan as well, you can get that a bit further.
Yeah, and ladies, if you're having a fat day, slap on a coat of tan. I do it all the time, especially pre-menstrual when you're feeling a little bit puffy.
I don't know what
coat of fake tan.
I think the guy, Lee Priest used to say, if you're feeling bad, get a haircut. So I think for guys, it's a haircut. Yeah. Yours is the tan.
Tan or a new set of gym gear. That's always a good one. But if you're feeling a bit fat, then that cannot be a good idea. It's like shoes, new gym shoes. Shoes always fit.
Is that why you buy shoes every 3 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. Yeah. She has a lot of shoes.
Anywho.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So, first up, let's explain exactly what the GI tract is.
Okay.
So that stands for gastrointestinal tract. So we're going to break it down from when food comes into your mouth, you go in, you get to masticate. Are you sure you want to say that word?
Mastication.
It's basically just chewing food.
My favourite muscle in the body is the masticator.
Yeah. So you get to chew it in your mouth. Basically got salivary amylase? Yeah. In there. That is going to start breaking that food down. And then that's going to go through your esophagus and then basically pass through down into your stomach. So within the stomach, Shawnee, what's going on in there?
Stomach, in a nutshell, is where it gets just churned up, and you've got hydrochloric acid, so it's going to get... it's all going to get churned and chewed and screwed up, basically, into as much of a paste as possible, so it's easy to go through the next smaller tubes. So there is some absorption as well.
Yeah.
But we're basically breaking it down via chemical reactions into smaller, easier, manageable stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've chewed it, and then you've churned it, and then we're through into the next tube and then into the small intestine.
So there's a lot of, like, people talk about pH in the stomach and an alkaline versus acidic environment, which I think is a good one to touch on.
Let's make our stomach alkaline.
Yeah, because that'll work.
It's not supposed to be.
No, we need acid to break things down.
What's your view on HCl tabs?
Okay, so I have witnessed firsthand girls taking HCl, so HCl is hydrochloric acid in a tablet.
Which is already found in your stomach.
Yeah, and so a lot of, like, products came out years ago. It was pure HCl, and you were meant to, the principle of it was you eat that with your food, and it helps break down your food faster, more efficiently, which in turn should help you poop better. Now, I obviously was someone that struggled with my gut, so I took about 9 HCl tablets a day. Now, at this time, I was dieting on very small portions of food. Like, I'm talking like 50 grams of meat per meal and a bit of vegetables.
So you really needed that.
So can you imagine, like, a 50-gram serve of chicken in my stomach with a bit of green veggies and then, like, 3 HCl tablets with that? What would happen?
That's like saying, we need to cook this chicken, let's throw it in a volcano.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's really fuck it up.
Yeah, so I got more stomach pain. Basically, like, there would have been so much acidity going on in my stomach. And a lot of girls that, I won't mention the gym names and things, but a lot of girls that were on the same protocol ended up in hospital. Yeah. So they were getting stomach ulcers from the issues going on there because it was burning through the lining in their stomach. So you just don't fuck about with things. Like,
you do as you're told. That's
exactly.
The thing, when you shouldn't have at the time, who would have known?
And there's a difference between HCl tablets and digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes are another one that I've tried before. Yeah. So the main ingredients are normally amylase and protease, I think. Lipase in most of them. Not as bad. They're not going to be obviously as aggressive. It has a different purpose, I guess.
I assume you would just digest them and shit them out if you don't eat them,
I mean,
really.
It's similar ingredients to a probiotic, really. Like, I just don't know if it would be as efficient to be taken with food. I almost think that sometimes, like, if you're having food digest in, because I know I noticed a big difference when I started taking my probiotics at night compared to in the morning. Yeah. So I used to take them in the morning with food, and then I changed over to at night away from food, like just before bed. Yeah. And I will straight away wake up now and go for a poo.
Yeah, because it's the whole point of them is
let it rest.
It's fermentation.
Exactly.
At night,
yeah. So I think that's the issue with some of the digestive enzymes as well. But definitely, like, I've tried them, I didn't notice a difference. Like,
who can honestly say or has had a test that says that you're low in lipase?
Exactly.
You know, so it's, if you're someone that's eating a fuckload of protein, then maybe you might need some extra protein ones. Yeah,
but probably not that essential. Yeah, I think so. Basically, going from the stomach. So a lot of the time, people like figuring out where your gut pain is. So when we're talking about gut health, gut pain, gut bloating, the bloating won't tend to be like high up in your stomach. It will tend to be lower, tend to be like intestines, colon, same with the pain. So when I used to get IBS pains, they would be to the lower left side. So that was more colon issue. Yeah. So yeah, figure out where your pain is. If you're getting pain, that's probably important, because if you're getting it higher up and you're getting reflux, that's more acidity in your stomach. Mm-hmm. So I was getting acid reflux when I was having these HCl tablets. So I like burp acid and it was gross. Yeah.
That can be something as simple as you're not chewing your food properly.
Yeah, eating food too fast. Yeah.
So try that. That's a really good one.
Slow down.
Slow down your chewing.
When I eat chicken too fast, I get that.
It's because it's dry as fuck.
Yeah, it was always cooked chicken. It's always roast chicken.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because roast chicken's dry as hell.
Yeah.
Have you tried smothering it in barbecue sauce?
No.
Oh, then that'll work.
It'll slip down.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we go from the stomach, we go through the duodenum. I just like that word.
Just a tube.
Yeah, just a little tube into the small intestines. And obviously your intestines are very long and very windy. I can't remember exactly how many meters they are. I should know that.
I think it's
like 7 or something.
If you unravel it, it's the size of a tennis court.
Is that big? Far out. Yeah. So
in terms of surface area, not in terms of
length. Yeah. So intestines small, and then up the top you got your large, down to your ascending, descending colon. So basically what goes on there is that is where you're actually absorbing things. Yeah. Proper absorption, you have your little microvilli all the way through. And that is where the glutens can become a problem.
Because they fuck your villi up.
Exactly,
yeah. So villi, tiny little hairs, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Think about fine hairs like fingers. I always think of them. So if you've got your hands...
It's creepy.
Yeah, no, it's real creepy. They're fingering your intestines.
Fingering my guts.
I always think of it as like hands, like if you can't see because it's not fucking a podcast, and here I am standing here with my hands, but your fingers touching each other just lightly and like kind of vibrating past each other. Yeah. That's like your villi. So it's helping push things along, but also absorb things too. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then, you go down to your colon and your shitter, down to your rectum and...
Oh, shitter.
out the anus.
Did you say colon?
Colon, yeah.
You said colon.
No, colon.
It's very aggressive.
Colon.
Colon. Yeah. Colon, yeah.
So that's it. Anything else to add to that?
Well, I think in terms of the anatomy and physiology of it, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But like most of it, we're looking at the stomach where it just gets churned. Then in the small intestines where it gets absorbed, and that's where all the magic happens in terms of that's where you're getting all your nutrients, your micros and stuff going through those cells there. If you have any deficiencies and stuff in your diet, that's where we're looking at the trouble happening, is in the small intestine. And then if we want to go into the elimination section, that's the colon. So in terms of IBS and digestive issues, there's a long section of small and large intestines where shit can go wrong. That's why it's such a broad topic to discuss. It's not IBS, I'm allergic to exactly this, and that's everywhere.
It's not like celiac. It's not like
celiac.
You can't eat gluten. Yeah.
There's such a broad spectrum of foods that we're looking at, and that's why it's very, very individualized.
Absolutely. So I think, obviously touching on the glutens, let's maybe explain what celiac disease is if people are wondering, because you may have a slight gluten intolerance or a slight, even a wheat-specific intolerance. That's probably a form of IBS, I would say. But if you're actually celiac, you will know about it, okay? Because you will be ill, you will feel very tired all the time. Tiredness is probably one of the best, indicators of celiac a lot of the time, because you're not absorbing nutrients efficiently. So no matter how many good quality nutrients you get, and you might even get blood tests done and it shows that everything's low, but you're eating really well and you can't understand it. That's one. You'll get severe stomach pain, potentially vomiting, all of that if you're actually celiac. And I have a few clients who are proper celiac. Yeah. They literally have a gram or two and they are terrible for a month. So I
think a full-blown celiac, it's 1/16 of a teaspoon of gluten can fuck you up for months.
Yeah, and if you think about you go out to a restaurant and they put a sauce on something and they say it's say a Chinese restaurant, they say it's gluten-free. It's probably not, in Bali and
might
stuff.
Might have some wheat,
soy. It might have soy. Soy sauce, which is
it's got wheat in it
yeah.
As well, yeah.
And you get a gluten-free one. So little things like that. So I think not blanketing yourself as being gluten intolerant or celiac, unless you can actually get tests done for it as well. If you're really unsure, they'll make you do the bread test where you actually eat bread and see the reaction.
But that's the thing, is people are they go and get tested when they haven't eaten bread. So it's we actually need to have been eating it to know whether you're going to have, because then they'll go to the doctor having not eaten it for 6 months. And it'll say, no, you haven't got any inflammation from gluten. It's because you haven't fucking eaten it. Yeah. So eat it and then come back and get tested.
What happens. So. And if you're going to remove it anyway, then and you feel better, then you may as well just, you know.
We're pretty lucky these days, as you know, you buy a lot of gluten-free stuff. You make all your cakes and stuff gluten-free, use oats instead, and you can get organic.
You get gluten-free flour. I had gluten-free pasta yesterday. Yeah. There's so many options, and I'm not celiac. I can have a small amount. I will notice that I do get a bit bloated, and that's from IBS, because again, most people with IBS struggle to break down gluten efficiently. So
I think a good thing here is if you look at,
but I don't get sick. I don't get violently ill.
That's it. Is if you're a celiac, you literally get sick. It's stopping you absorbing nutrients. Whereas if you have an intolerance to it just means that you can't break down gluten very well. Yeah,
it's a bit slower. That's why you get bloated. That's why you can get constipated, all those sort of things.
But what is gluten? Gluten's just 2 proteins. Glutenin and gliadin. When you combine them, you can, if you've ever made bread from full strength high gluten bread flour, you can see that it just gets full of air and you can blow it up like a balloon if it's strong enough gluten in the flour. So if you think about that in your stomach, that's why you're getting bloated.
It's hard to break down. Because
it's really hard to break down. If you're getting gassy at all and it's getting into that dough, then it's just trapping all that air in there.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't mean that you're celiac necessarily. It just means that you don't break it down very well and you probably shouldn't be eating so much. One little trick
Yeah.
is if you're someone that, because I know that you're like, okay, I'm a little bit intolerant to...
I've tried to avoid it if there's the option of avoiding it, but I'm not like, go to a restaurant and be like, oh my God, if I have gluten, I'm going to die.
Well, one of the worst things you can have is bread, because it's very high gluten content. Especially bagels. Like bagel flour is crazy.
Sourdough.
Yeah, because that's a live bread.
Yeah.
Actually, cake flour, if you're going to eat anything, if you've got a choice of a bread of some sort or a cake of some sort, go for the cake, because it's very low in gluten in terms of the flour. Lower.
Depending on what flour they use, though?
No, cake flour. Like,
specific cake flour.
So as long as it's not a strong bread flour.
Yeah.
Because bread flour, you can make a cake and make a bread dough, and you'll see the difference in consistency. The cake needs to be very, very light. Doesn't need to trap as much air in terms. Doesn't need to be so stretchy. Whereas bread's stretchy and thick and quite resilient. You know.
Yeah. By the way, Sean used to be a chef, so this is why you know all these things.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's get into that. So from going down, we've now explained like what the GI tract is. So let's talk now about, I guess, some of the symptoms and problems that people commonly have with the digestive system.
Yeah. Specifically to IBS? Or?
Well, no, just in general. I would say the big ones that clients come to us with is bloating. Yeah. Bloating's probably the number one. Not going to the toilet is probably number two.
Yeah.
Or the opposite end, diarrhea or inconsistent stools. Yeah. I would say like one day you've got diarrhea, the next day you've got constipation. And then probably stomach pain, like actually painfulness or painfulness on pooping. Like straining to get out of shit.
Yeah, which again comes back to slight constipation, really.
Well, severe constipation, really. Yeah. Straining to push a poo out.
Hey, what's your view on bloating?
Bloating, and this is probably one I get asked so many by females, is it can be so many things. Yeah. Like it could be 500, 600 things that it could potentially be that's caused you to be bloated.
Are they all bad?
What do you mean?
Like, is bloating necessary? If you're bloated at any time in your life, does that mean, in your opinion...
Doesn't mean you're going to die, no.
No, exactly. Yeah. So I think people are afraid of bloating.
I think females, in particular, are like, oh my God, I'm a tiny bit bloated after a meal. It's like, you just ate.
You just fucking ate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So my big thing is I have a lot of girls that when we're increasing their calories, or maybe they're post-show and they're reverse dieting and they've had this like six-pack, and then they start eating more carbs and they're having maybe like... water's usually pretty high, but they're having more carbs and water combined. They're having maybe a bit more fibre as well, just because they're eating more food in general. And they start to get a little bit more bloated and they freak out and they're like, oh my God, I'm fat. And it's like, no, or sometimes it is just body fat.
maybe not. Yeah. Maybe you went too far.
Sometimes it is body fat, and I think that's the other one. A lot of women will say, like, I'm bloated, and I know it sounds harsh, but then I'll look at their photos and be like, actually, it's body fat. Like, because I know I hold it on my midsection, and sometimes I'm like, am I bloated or is it just fat there? You know, I can tell the difference, but definitely. So I think like a little bit of bloating is fine. It's more like if you are constantly bloated 24/7, if you wake up in the morning and you're bloated.
Chronic versus acute.
Yeah, like when I wake up in the morning, my stomach's pretty flat. By the end of the day, it's a little bit more bloated because I've consumed probably 5 litres of water and had more food and whatnot, especially like we said, when you're eating bigger food volumes than say when you're dieting. But yeah, I would say like it's pretty normal. It depends the extent to which you're talking about. Like full stomach distension, like that's not right. Like something's going on. And long term, yeah, exactly. So it's also a lot of it is like stomach control and abdominal control as well. And posture is a big one. Huge. Some women will always look bloated, and it's like because they're super lordotic and their stomach's pushing out instead of trying to focus on tucking the hips under and engaging the core.
Yeah.
So
actually
that will
train
help.
Your abs.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously there's some of the symptoms. So how do you figure out then from there what's causing the problem and how do you fix it?
From bloating?
Yeah.
Me personally, I think the really good test is, are you waking up bloated? Because you've spent all night digesting your food. In a perfect world, all the fermentations happened at night, which is a good thing. You've done your bloating. That's why some people wake up in the morning and fart like a motherfucker. Because all your...
You?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'll wait till you leave the room. You just fart incessantly, so...
Sure do.
You're constantly farting and fermenting.
You're welcome.
Too much broccoli.
I don't even eat broccoli.
Don't eat broccoli, yeah. So I'd say if you're waking up bloated, that's where we need to sort of sort things out. But if you're waking up and you're going to the toilet, that's the best time to sort of think, okay, is there anything wrong?
Yeah.
If you are bloated, then we need to figure out why. And really, it's just a process of elimination.
Absolutely. I think that's the big one. People need to understand to be patient with it.
Yeah.
That if you just jump on taking some shake or some product that says it's going to fix your guts, then you're not really getting to the root cause.
Yeah,
and
I've got a shit diet. I'm eating McDonald's 7 times a day. Let me take this product and I'll continue taking 7 Macca's burgers a day and what have you.
Or you take this product and the product says this product won't work unless you have a clean diet.
Unless you stop eating McDonald's.
No fucking shit. Like, it's not the product. It's the fact that you cleaned your diet up. This is kind of our take-home message for this whole podcast, guys. This is, if you need to remember one thing, write this down, okay? If you are eating like an absolute asshole, pardon my French, an absolute dickhead, and you're eating shit food, you know you have a crap diet, yet you're looking for the product that's going to clean your guts up, like, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time.
100%.
You need to clean your diet up first. And then if you're still having gut issues, then dig a little deeper, okay? Because that was kind of what I did. I cleaned my diet up and I was still having issues. So then I was like, okay, well, what in those clean foods is still causing me discomfort? And then it's a process of elimination. So,
I would say one of the first things when we start working with clients is they almost always say how much better the guts feel.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you're the same as me, but I don't use any digestive aids in terms of... I use
probiotics with a lot of clients, that's it.
Probiotics, fibre and water.
Yep, sometimes I'll throw into an actual meal plan. I might say I want you having sauerkraut or I want you having some kimchi or something. Actual food.
But it comes back to just probiotics.
Yeah, like we're telling them the only one that like I'll use as well for some of my FIFO clients is like a greens powder because they don't get access to a lot of vegetables. But for 90% of clients that live like at home, I'd rather them just eat food. Yeah. Like... Yeah.
We don't use magic products. And it's funny because there's all these people that say, I took this product and it worked, but they also cleaned up their diet. So we'll stop taking the fucking product and just continue with your nice clean diet.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess a lot of people have asked us to review certain products on gut health on the podcast. I don't think that we need to name names. I think you guys kind of can get the gist of what we're saying. But the biggest thing is stop spending your money if you haven't actually looked at like what's affecting you. So what do we mean by the process of an elimination diet? How would we be factoring that in?
I really like food diaries.
Yeah, same.
So write down what you're eating on an average day. Eat that exact same thing and note how you felt 30 minutes after that food, an hour after that food, 4 hours after that food, until and how you feel just before your next meal. Yeah. If you ate that and you felt great, tick the box, you can eat that meal again. Yeah. Do the next meal, say the meal was something completely different and you didn't feel as great, well, there's something in that meal that you need to look at. Yeah, because a lot of girls always ask me, like, what foods are great foods for my gut? And it's more a case of what foods aren't great for your guts because there's not really foods that are going to help a hell of a lot. It's more about like the volumes of things, the different types of fibers. Well, the list of foods that you can't eat.
It's pretty big.
It is very different to the one food that I don't eat.
Exactly, and everyone's case dependent. Like I've got some clients that have to be on way more restrictive diets than others, and that's not my goal as a coach. Like. And I think sometimes women will come to me and think, oh, well, you do flexible dieting so I can eat whatever I want and get results. No, that's not how it works. Like I've got some clients that have got celiac, that have got this and that can't eat whatever they want IFYM style and get a result. That's not what nutrition's about or health. So definitely. So do a food diary. I do the same thing with my girls. I get them to also write down their notes on like their energy levels and things like that in it. When they're going to the toilet is another big one. If they are going,
you can even get out. This is the third time
poop chart,
the Bristol stool chart.
Get your Bristol out. Yeah. Exactly.
Bristol. That actually means tits in England.
Oh really?
Yeah, your Bristol cities shows your titties.
That's weird.
Yeah. So maybe not that.
Okay, Bristol's poop chart.
Poop chart. Yeah.
Okay. See if you have a normal looking poop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be coming out lumpy. It shouldn't be coming out super runny. Shouldn't be shooting out of you like, like a tap.
Any more descriptions?
It should look like a Mr. Hanky the Christmas poop.
Yeah.
Mr. Hanky looks quite healthy.
He was hard enough to jump around. So.
Yeah, but he's reasonably healthy.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so aim for a Mr. Hanky-looking poo, and you're onto the right path.
Yeah, if there's any blood and tears in your anus, then maybe a bit too firm.
That was actually one I had someone ask me about the other day.
Tears in your anus?
Blood in the stool.
You personally?
Blood in the stool.
How's your anus?
No, legit question, because I know she'll probably be listening. One of my clients, I'm not going to mention her name, because it's a little... Yeah, it can be. It's not embarrassing, really. It's something that can happen. But she was having issues with blood in her stool, which can be hemorrhoids. It can be...
Fresh blood or old blood? So is it dark and black, or is it like red?
No, like fresh.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. That's not necessarily in the stool. It's from your anus.
Anus, exactly. Yeah. So if it's in the stool, that's different. It's probably some deeper issues going on. But if it's fresh blood, it's actually not as bad. So anyway, off the...
I think that's common. Like I know that when I was... Here we go. Story time. When I was probably 12 or 13, I had to go to the doctor because I remember going to the toilet and looking down in the toilet and it was like I had a period.
A myriad.
What the fuck is going on? I didn't know I was a girl. Yeah, I've got my myriad. Yay! I'm officially a real boy. And it turned out I'd split my ass in two pretty much.
What were you doing?
I just never used to drink any water. Yeah. And fibre was pretty much non-existent. We used to eat, because we were poor, we used to eat a lot of cheap white rice, so next to no fibre in that. Spag bowl sort of meals, not many veggies, and again, not much water. So went to the doctor, had a colonoscopy, so he stuffed a fucking camera up my bumhole.
Yummy.
So I lost my brown wings virginity. Yep. And that was really uncomfortable. But yeah, they basically said that every time I went to the toilet, because I didn't drink enough water, I was just squeezing too hard. You know, when you grip the toilet and you're like, get it, son. Yeah, too hard, and I was tearing my bumhole.
You have a squatty potty?
No, I didn't, no. But I should get one. Apparently they're really good for you. Lift your knees. Sometimes I consider lifting my knees up.
I didn't see them when we were in Japan. I was surprised.
No, but their toilets are very low to the floor.
They are.
Because they're smaller people.
They're also quite short.
Quite short, yeah. So it was kind of handy for us. But yeah, so I had some blood. And it was just because I wasn't drinking enough water and eating enough fibre. So
Simple
as soon as I fixed that, he said to me, eat Wheat Bix. What do you have? Is it Wheat Bix here? Yeah, we have Wheat Bix. No. But he said eat it with butter and jam, like toast. Well, you're a sicko, doctor.
I've heard some people do that. That's weird. That'd be so dry. Oh. That's like eating, like, when you try to eat heaps of peanut butter at once and you, like, can't chew.
That's a challenge. I like that.
Try cinnamon.
It was like eating sawdust. Yeah, there's a trick to the cinnamon one. You hold your breath. Hold your breath, turn it into a paste, and then you go for it.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to take on Robbie in that one.
Did he get a cinnamon sponsorship or not?
I don't know.
One of our friends was trying to get a sponsorship by
You guys
Master
probably
Foods.
know him. Robbie Frame.
By he wanted a life supply
I know
of
he
cinnamon.
got given a lot of them at Arnold.
Really?
I don't know how he was getting back to Sydney, but he was probably having to, like, ship his cinnamon.
Brings an extra case. Just for cinnamon.
Exactly.
He's so insulin sensitive.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And it's just high in fibre.
No wonder he's got a lean midsection.
Yeah. So that was basically if you're tearing your bumhole, then it tends to be a fibre water ratio thing.
Yeah.
You know, just get that right. As soon as I haven't had it since.
And it's getting that ratio right, because a lot of people ask, how much water should I drink a day? How much fibre should I have a day?
So different person to person.
Yeah, so individual.
How many litres of water do you have a day, do you reckon?
Oh, I'd say 5.
Yeah.
Which seems like a lot to some people. Like, you have probably, more than that?
Yeah.
6, 7?
6, 7 if I'm training legs or back or something brutal and it's summer. Sometimes more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, in summer, I was probably having 6 or 7. And, winter, I have to be more conscious with it. But for me, for example, we also need to think about salt. So I eat a lot of salt, like a lot. Like I put Himalayan rock salt on everything.
So you'll boil your veggies in salted water.
Not really.
And then you'll put.
I don't ever boil veggies, but yeah.
Or you'll make your food. We'll say.
Okay.
You put salt in your food, and then you put it on the plate, and then you salt the top of it, and then you put barbecue sauce on the top of it, which is really high in sodium. Yeah. So salt, and more salt.
So if I cut out sodium for like 2 days, I'd probably be shredded.
You'd probably be stage ready,
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's an important topic to talk about, because like right now I'm dieting and some days I'll wake up and I am a little bloated, and then I look at what I had yesterday and I probably had a fuck ton of sodium.
Yeah, so you're watery.
And I'm like, whatever, at least I'm full. At least my food was tasty. So I think it's like pros and cons. It's like, Yeah, sure. If I cut that out, my food wouldn't taste as good to me, but I'd probably have a flatter midsection. Yeah. But, like, it's not that important. I'm, like, 11 weeks out. Like, who cares? I'd rather have my food taste good. I'm going to struggle in peak week when I probably have to pull back on my salt intake. I'm going
to take all your salt out just for funsies. Just to see how you...
Don't do that. We're doing bad coaches. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's important, like, because I have a lot of salt, I actually need to have a lot of water to make sure that I'm not, that I'm, like, flushing a fair bit of that out as well, that I'm not, taking all that in. Yeah. I would say I probably have about 3,000 milligrams to 4,000 of salt a day.
I've honestly never tracked mine. I just go with consistency.
Well, you know what's funny? I've tracked a few of my female clients who eat quote-unquote clean when they start working with me. And I'd say a lot of people actually under-eat salt. And they're afraid of it. Yeah, and they're having issues with, like, sleep and, like, recovery and stuff like that.
I think hydration's a big one. Some people say they can drink so much water but then don't actually feel hydrated. And sometimes just salts and your electrolytes are out of balance.
Yeah, throw some in. So that's definitely one.
It's not staying in your body, you're just kind of pissing it all out.
Exactly. So let's talk fibre now. Yeah. So there's two different types of fibre. And this is the big thing that a lot of people don't know, that there is two types of fibre. I think people just think fibre. More fibre's better. More fibre makes you poop. It's not the case. Not the case most of the time. I have a vegan client at the moment, and I got her to... I think she submitted her client, like, reports, and every week they have to put, like, how much fibre they're having and stuff like that. So she wasn't on a meal plan. She does her own thing. She's a pretty good vegan. And then I looked at her check-in form, and she was having 80 grams of fibre a day. Oh. And now she's having all these stomach issues. Now, I'm not going to say we don't know whether it's 100% linked at the moment, but... Could.
It's not going to be beneficial.
She's having a stomach ulcer, basically. So
remember my guts when I was eating, like, 5 cups of oats a day.
We cut yours down.
I was on 160 grams of fibre, and I just looked fat all the time.
Yeah.
Fat with abs on the top. And it was just so much fibre.
You'll find a lot of vegans struggle with bloating a lot because of such high fibre intake, and also foods that are quite high FODMAP. So a lot of legumes. So I had to cut all of that out of her diet just to give her guts a rest. And so having a more fibre, especially more insoluble fibre, is where we're going to have a lot of issues. So explain what's the difference between soluble and insoluble.
Insoluble is just the stuff that you just can't digest. Mm-hmm. So it's just there to push stuff.
Move along.
Yes, just to push stuff through your body.
Yeah.
So, like oat bran, for example.
Yeah, like skin of fruit.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. It just gets broken down. It's pretty much there to bulk up and push stuff along and through your guts. Not a bad thing. You need it because it's there to keep your intestines nice and clean as well. So it's...
it helps with hemorrhoids.
Very good for hemorrhoids, the lumps and bumps and the grooves in your intestines. Whereas insoluble is like the pulp of, like, the inside of an apple and carrots.
Insoluble?
Soluble is just like the pulp of stuff. So it's...
so soluble soaks up water.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference with the two.
Very good, yeah. And that's a really important one because it stabilises blood sugar levels and very good for... sometimes keeping things in the intestines a bit longer so they can actually get absorbed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that if you have too much insoluble fibre as well, that's where you lead into things like constipation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think, soluble is in less foods. I would say insoluble is in more foods.
Do you see much on... You're more clued in with food labels than me. Do you see... Because you see fibre on food labels.
They never break it down.
Do they break it down?
No, it'd be great if they did.
Yeah, I'm sure. I swear they used to, or maybe that was an English thing.
We've never had it in Australia.
Really?
No. But that would be
really
great.
Cool.
That would make things a lot easier for people so that you could understand what am I having more of. So for me, for example, I need to have more soluble fibre and less insoluble fibre because I don't break it down very well.
Yeah.
So oats, as soon as we actually changed my diet a few weeks ago, we put my carbs up, dropped my protein down, my fats down because I wasn't going to the toilet very well. Yeah. So I said to Sean, I haven't been pooping like every second day maybe. And we were like, okay, well, what can we change? So we bumped my carbs up. I've been having a serve of oats every day and I've been pooping.
How good are oats?
Yummy. So soluble fibre. Yeah. So
soluble and some insoluble.
Yeah, and like I think a couple of the top ones that are really high in soluble fibre is oats and blueberries, and that was pretty much breakfast.
Yeah. I think oats have inulin as well.
Exactly.
It's like prebiotic.
Yeah, because a lot of the actual fibre supplements, which are not a bad thing to buy. So I have the pure fibre sprinkles from Coles. Yeah. They're like $8. Way cheaper than all of these products out there on the market. Go get yourself, if you need it, a greens powder and some fibre flakes. Yeah. You're good to go.
They're really really good, those ones as well, because it's
They have inulin in them. And
it's beetroot.
Beetroot, which is really good for your guts as well. So they've got a few really good ingredients, and I just sprinkle them on my oats, and that's what I was doing, or in a smoothie. And you don't need a lot. Again, remember, it's pure fibre. Yeah. So, but yeah, adding in little things like that is really, really good for you.
Because I know that you don't do psyllium husk very well. No. Do you? I know a lot of my clients with IBS don't do psyllium husk well either, because it's just an irritant.
You can't do that, or xanthan gum. There's a few different things.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of high fibre ones that will flare you up, yeah. Yeah, so I guess from there, like fibre-wise, there's not going to be one amount. There is recommended dietary guidelines for it. Females around 25 grams a day. They're basically saying this is a safeguard for bowel disease and things like that.
Well, the average, I looked up, is we're averaging 15 grams a day.
Which is too low.
And that's men and women. So.
I would say most males are too low. Yeah. And most females are probably okay or too high.
I start most of my guys on about 40 grams.
40 grams is the recommended for guys, 35 to 40. Yeah. So I would say start around there. You know, for me, actually, I'm better on a little bit less. I go about 20 to 25 grams a day. Yeah, so around there. But again, that is because of the IBS. So let's talk now. One of the biggest things that I think people don't know or have never heard of, or if you have, fantastic, but is FODMAPs, okay? So a lot of the time, girls will come to me, or Sean will be the same with guys, and they'll say, I'm eating so clean, I'm bloated all the time, I never go to the toilet, and I've bumped up my vegetable intake and it's gotten even worse. Yeah. And I actually had this with one of the trainers at the gym the other day. She was chatting to me, she's like, I've got a photo shoot in 3 weeks. So I've been eating super clean, I've been eating so much broccoli and my stomach's got worse. And I straight away just went, try cut the broccoli out and let me know how you go. So there is some... basically fruits, vegetables, dairy products, even like artificial and natural sweeteners and stuff like that as well. That are
it's a big list.
A very big list. Like,
so if when people say I'm allergic to or have intolerances to FODMAPs, it's like all of them.
All of them, yeah.
That's a fucking massive list. So
let's explain like what FODMAPs are. So FODMAPs are a collection of short-chain carbohydrates, so sugars, that aren't properly absorbed basically in the gut, which can trigger symptoms in people with IBS. Okay, so they are found naturally in many foods and also in some additives. Yeah. So it's important to understand. Bars. Yeah. So it's in a lot of things that are clean foods, a lot of foods that are meant to be healthy. Just because something's healthy, it doesn't mean it's good for you specifically, which I think is important.
Of course.
So, the big words. What does FODMAP even stand for? So, we'll do one by one.
Yeah, go for them quickly.
F stands for fermentable, which are the ones that I have the most issues with. So, they basically process through which gut bacteria ferments undigested carbohydrates to produce gases. So, this is generally like fruit and vegetables. Mainly vegetables more specifically here. So, fermentable things. So, that's where you're looking at like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, even avocado is quite high. It's not a vegetable though, it's a fruit. Yeah. So there's a lot of different vegetables that are hard for some people to break down. They ferment in the gut, produces gas. Gas causes bloating and
There's all of these sugars which become fermentable. Mm-hmm. So I would say go like when we go oligo.
There you go.
So that's when you're talking about
oligosaccharides.
So the main ones in there, I mean that's your glutens, isn't it? So your wheats, and I would say the big one in there is your pulses. So beans, and what are they called? Lentils and stuff like that. Lentils, though, actually, if you soak them properly, aren't so bad. So that's why if you're someone that does struggle with beans and pulses and stuff like that, if they're very well soaked, like tinned stuff, it's not as bad. But you can soak it and boil it and cook it even more to break down. I mean, they have things in them called raffinose.
And
so raffinose, and they're really bad ones. So they make you gassy as fuck. So
wheat, rye, onion, garlic, legumes.
But the bad thing about that is onion and garlic are very good prebiotics. So you think, a prebiotic, really, really good for you. Well, for some people, it's really, really bad.
So it's confusing. And this is why so many people are confused about gut health.
Yeah.
All right, disaccharides are the next one. So that's basically lactose, okay? So found in dairy products, milk, soft cheeses, yogurts. Not all. So like, for example, feta is actually okay, whereas brie, terrible.
Yeah.
Normal sort of, it says different things that you want to look at.
Even yogurt, I find small amounts of yogurt with some of my lactose intolerant
so I was doing like 200 grams a day of Chobani and getting bloated as fuck.
Yeah, but you can have like 50.
Now I have about 50 on my oats and I'm fine. So definitely, lactose is another one. So you may only be sensitive to lactose. The other ones might be fine. Next one.
Manos.
Yep. So Manos. This is a good one because one of my clients the other day didn't understand why I put maple syrup in her plan instead of honey. She was like, "Can I just have honey?" And I was like, "No," because she's got IBS.
The fruit sugar.
Yeah. So fruit sugar. So
maple syrup's glucose, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, as opposed to
so maple
fructose.
syrup's really easy to digest. Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, backstage at comps, I always tell my clients maple syrup, not honey on things. Yeah.
How many people did you see with a pot of honey?
Honey.
And they're like, oh, I'm so bloated. Oh,
Yeah.
should have got maple syrup.
Should have got maple syrup, exactly. And even I think a couple of my girls use rice malt syrup as well instead.
Yeah,
which is not a bad option.
It just doesn't taste
it doesn't taste as good as maple syrup.
It just tastes like sugar, really.
Yeah. You're talking like fructose, corn syrups, honey, apples.
Apples, if you peel it, like we said, drops down the insoluble fibre. I know my mum has IBS. If she peels an apple, she's fine.
A bit better without the skin.
Yeah, you're fine as well.
Bananas are moderate. There's a few other ones. Watermelon's actually meant to be quite high as well, but then I'm okay with watermelon.
And that's another prebiotic.
Yeah, so again, it's case dependent. I find that I'm probably not so bad with the monosaccharides. I'm okay with the fruit. I'm actually okay with honey, but with
I'd say that's a lower
one. Yeah, I'd say your fermentable, so your F and your O and your oleo, I can't say it, oligosaccharides, oleo are the worst, and then the last one I would say is the worst.
I'd say this is almost everyone.
This one put me in hospital. So this is your polyols. So FODMAP, polyols is your sorbitol and your mannitol, okay?
Mannitol.
Mannitol.
Erythritol and all the tolls.
Yeah, all the tolls, anything ending in toll. So they're found in some fruit and vegetables, but generally they're used in sweetness. So they're
more often than not man-made.
Exactly. So they're going to be in a lot of your protein bars, a lot of your sugar-free items. Chewing gum.
Xylitol and erythritol.
Yeah, so I think these are probably the ones that will mess you up the most if you have them in large amounts.
Yeah. What was your comp prep story when you ate the sugar-free lollies?
You know those sugar-free lollies that you buy at the chemist and they're like sugar-free, I think it was like sugar-free bag of gummy bears, and I was like, sweet sugar-free gummy bears,
no calories,
0
calories.
Yeah, and I was I'd had a steak and like sweet potato meal before that. No, hadn't had that yet. So I had a whole bag of sugar-free lollies, which was fucking stupid. And then I was training a client in the gym. I had one client, and then I shoveled down like some steak and sweet potato. And then I was training my next client, and I could just feel it like sitting in like my stomach, like right at the top, like almost like I was going to vomit. And then I ran off halfway through a session and vomited.
They happen fast.
Very fast. It took about an hour. Yeah, and then I lifted up my shirt and I was like, I don't know, 2 weeks out from comp. And I looked like I was 6 months pregnant. And I was like, oh my God.
Baby.
Yeah, and I just fell to the floor and I was grabbing my stomach and I couldn't stand up straight because it hurt. I went straight to the hospital, to emergency. And they basically said that my intestines had twisted. And that they'd gotten twisted around each other because of the and there was all this acidity and problems in my stomach and gas, and they said that I had to take an internal muscle relaxant, so it was just a tablet that I took, and they slowly kind of relaxed off. So it was basically like a big cramp. My stomach just felt like it was in a cramp for about, I thought I was going to die.
Oh yeah. I was chatting to a client the other day, and he's like, I just got this random pain in my stomach. Lasted for about an hour, and then did a massive fart. Way better. Yeah.
Is that period pain?
That? Yeah. Well, I don't know if a fart is on par with period pain. If it is, then stop complaining.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
But that's kind of the pain that I felt was like really severe period pain for like a solid few hours. I thought it was appendicitis because it came on, but it was on the wrong side of my body. Yeah. So it was on my left side, not my right.
All from
a bag of sugar-free lollies. And that was when I knew how bad my IBS really was. I had a similar experience with cabbage like a year before that, where I ate heaps of cabbage soup, and it was like super bloated. Yeah. So yeah, this is why we're trying to explain to people that just because a food is even a health food like broccoli or cabbage that it might not be the best for you as an individual, but then some people completely fine.
Yeah,
like Sean you can eat cabbage and...
I can eat everything except cauliflower. And even then, I can't even have small amounts of cauliflower. It's just, if I eat one little bit, it basically feels like I'm farting fire. I get bloated, and it lasts for a fair few days as well. So it's like I can eat literally the smallest amount, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
but that's the one and only thing. I can eat everything you do, just fine.
Yeah.
So even raw vegetables, and how bad are raw vegetables for most people?
Exactly. That's the other one. I started eating more cooked and being very cautious with salad ingredients. Like kale's really bad, and I used to make like raw kale salads and
that's a double
kale in smoothies.
It's a double whammy, kale, because I can't really understand why people say it's so healthy. I think because it's high in iron or iodine and
high in protein,
calcium and stuff like that. Yeah, I suppose, but it's really high in oxalic acid, which is really bad for calcium and iron absorption.
Yeah.
And it's a cruciferous vegetable, so it's really high in goitrogens, which is really, really bad for thyroid absorption as well. So it's weird. Let's eat more of it. And it's really bad for your guts. So probably don't eat too much kale.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a big one.
Sorry, vegetarians.
Yeah. Fuck off. I would say...
Funny.
I would say... cruciferous vegetables, something that really needs
simple
to be
one
thought
to test.
about.
Yeah, if you are eating broccoli 3 times a day and you are being constantly bloated, that might be just a simple one you can look at and try change out to some green beans or some zucchini. Go and have a look on go on monashfodmap.com and go into the list, and there's really good lists on there of high and low FODMAP foods, moderate FODMAP foods. It doesn't mean you need to go and eliminate them all, but it's just a case of I'm having that 4 times a day and it's on the high list. Maybe I'll change that out and see what happens. And just trial and error with things. That's the biggest thing. Or work with a coach, That's definitely, if you're having chronic bloating, chronic constipation, and you're trying to figure it out on your own, chat to someone. Have a consult with a coach. At least sit down with them. Yeah. You might only need an hour with someone to let them go through your diet, ask you a few questions, and they might be able to at least point you in the right direction, give you some tips. So that's something that I do with people occasionally. It'll just be like an hour and we'll just go through their diet.
Show me a food diary. Let's chop this, let's change this. And even some of your clients.
It doesn't mean you need to be an ongoing client of that person. It just might mean you need a bit of help. Yeah.
And you know what? If you start working with a coach and I find that even my diets and stuff, if I ever do a diet plan, which I don't like to do, but if I do write diet plans, you don't nail it first time. You didn't know that person was not overly tolerant to, say, I don't know, zucchini or broccoli or some green vegetable. You just change it out. We go through the process of elimination, and then we get it. I changed one of my clients. I told him to cook his broccoli more, and we dropped it from 150 to 100 grams in one meal, and then we did the other meal in zucchini instead, and problem fixed.
Yeah.
He said he felt awful eating 2 meals of 150 grams of broccoli. Now he has one meal of 100 and then the other meal of 150 grams of zucchini, and fixed. So easily done. Food diary, magical thing to look at. Yeah, absolutely. Even if you're doing flexible dieting, you need to look at the quality of your food. You need to look at what you're consuming, because I think that people that do actually no, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say people that do IFYM have worse digestive systems, but no, probably not, because a lot of people that eat clean diets and eat 4 serves of broccoli a day can have just as many issues. That was what I had more problems. Yeah. Sweet potato, you look at it, sweet potato, broccoli, asparagus, all very, very high fibre. They're not also getting much soluble fibre. You're getting a lot of insoluble. Yeah. So, all right, well, that tends to be the symptoms and the causes. So in terms of fixing some of these things. Yeah. So some of the big things, let's just run through some recommendations. So obviously if you are looking at those FODMAP foods and you're thinking that it's more IBS, look at eliminating stuff out of your diet, number 1. Number 2, I would say, is look at, if it's not that, if those things aren't affecting you and you're still not sure what's going on, look at your water intake. Yeah. Look at your fibre intake. Is it too much? Is it too little? So you need to track a day of eating. Look at what you're hitting fibre-wise on an app. Consistently. Yeah, exactly. You might be super inconsistent with your diet. So you might be 20 grams of fibre one day, 60 the next, and your guts are what the fuck are you doing? And it's actually interesting to play with fibre intake. So if you're really, there's 2 types of IBS as well. So you've got IBS constipative and IBS diarrhea.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that's got one or the other, do you know what? Try your fibre the other way around. So if you're constipative, then drop your fibre right down, but
not
raise,
all people with
raise
IBS,
your water
and
see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, or vice versa for if it's diarrhea, then probably up it and maybe keep your water the same.
Maybe add some salt in, like all of these different things. So, you know, like, so water, look at salt, look at fibre, look at potentially high FODMAP foods that you're eating. The other one I would say is look at how much protein you're having, like we touched on at the start. You're having too much protein maybe. Are you having a lot of protein that's hard to break down? So say a lot of red meat. Yeah. Maybe switch it out. Maybe throw in a shake or some egg whites or something.
Yeah, I think people, we go in circles, but sometimes we say, you know what, you want to eat more food and less shakes. Other times we say, do you know what, if you're eating, like I think for guys who are really, really bulking and going through some serious calories, 2 to 3 shakes a day sometimes is needed. You got to hit protein, yeah, you got to hit that protein, but your carbs are up at 7, 8, 9.
Same with girls who are on an off season or something and they're full all the time.
Don't be afraid to drink it, I know it's like, eat food is better for you. Well, it is until a certain point.
Like when my girls have to hit, like some of the girls in Breakthrough, their carbs are at like 350 grams a day. And they're like, I'm not hungry whatsoever. And I'm like, cool, like let's throw some simple sugars in. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, okay, like pre-workout or post-workout, have a few jelly beans. Like, it's okay.
Take
like
the fibre out of it.
Yeah, have some Wheat Bix and throw some maple syrup on there. Like, you know.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, lovely. So, I think, like, look at that. And I think this is why when people want quick answers when it comes to gut health, it is so case sensitive, like so individual independent on all of these variables. So if you're just, asking your coach quickly, like, hey, what do you think the problem is with my gut? It's like, have a good think about that question and go, hey, maybe I need to come to them with some research I've done and say, look, I've tried this. Yeah. This is where I'm at.
You need a good hour or so to talk about someone's stuff like that.
Yeah, which is why, again, we can't really give out specific advice. We're giving out very general advice here. Also from a safety standpoint, ethically as well. If you're going to someone and they say, this will fix your guts, and they don't even know anything about you, like,
that's the worst thing about selling gut products.
Yeah.
Is, I don't know, some of these gut products that have shit in it.
And they say it's going to fix everyone.
Yeah. But eat this with this diet. Okay, right. Another big one we haven't spoken about is stress.
Yeah. So stress.
Stress is huge on the guts.
Absolutely. When I'm stressed or nervous, I don't poop. So whenever I run a camp or a seminar, I never poop that morning of. Yeah. And it really annoys me because I'm like, now I look bloated.
Whereas I was the opposite. When I used to play my manly sport of cricket, just before...
Because that's stressful.
Yeah, I know. Well, it is when there's a 85-mile-an-hour cricket ball coming out your head.
Yeah, when you've got a helmet on and pads.
I never used to wear a helmet.
Oh, okay. You're tough.
Because I'm a bad boy.
Yeah.
And I was so small that it's harder to hit me.
Is that why you're a bit weird in the head?
Probably, yeah. Lost a few brain cells. And I got hit in the nuts a few times as well, so that's probably why they're still swollen.
Hope your swim's alright.
Yeah. I used to be more of a nervous pooer. So
I wish I was a nervous pooer. I'm so jealous.
I used to go out and feel so light.
I get really jealous of people that tell me they can poo like 3 times a day.
I'm
that is
two,
a dream.
2 to 3.
That's an absolute dream.
I think any more than that, you
were eating a lot of calories, you were pooing a lot. You're like the dogs. Like when we feed the dogs more, they just poo more.
1 meal in, 1 meal out. Yeah.
Whereas I just get bloated.
But that was like 6,500 calories. So.
And again, this is someone with sensitive guts compared to someone with iron guts. So, I think like...
Stress is a big one.
I honestly think that my guts got way worse when I had an eating disorder. Yeah. Because when I was going through my issues with bulimia, obviously every time you're vomiting, you're bringing up your stomach acid. Yeah. So that doesn't help. And then I would abuse laxatives because I would then not go to the toilet and my bowels got so bad. And I know this is way off topic now, guys, but a lot of females don't talk about this. I've had a lot of female clients that abuse laxatives that come to me and they're like, I don't want to have to be on laxatives the rest of my life. And I'm like, you know what? You're going to have to come off them and it's going to be worse for a little while and then it's going to get better. Because if you're relying on something to stimulate your bowels, like Movcol or Senna or anything like that, it's going to take a good week or so, maybe longer, maybe a month, for everything to work efficiently just through diet. Exercise is a really good one that helps when I do a little bit of cardio or walk. When I run, running makes me poop. Yeah. So, I'm
deep into like some high calorie off seasons.
Yeah, when you're doing no cardio.
It's hard. That's why sometimes I add cardio in to get people pooping more.
Especially if people have like just desk jobs where like, whereas if they can just go for a walk around the block in the morning and then like, and have a coffee or whatever, like you'll be pooping straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Pretty much a recipe for success for pooping.
Absolutely.
Coffee and a walk.
That's pretty much like show day morning for my clients. I'm like, get up, go for a walk, have a coffee, have a poo.
Yeah, it relaxes you and it stops your stress. There's a thing, serotonin, very related to stress and pooping. If you can get very constipated because serotonin is obviously nice and relaxing. So if you're nice and relaxed, so you go and have a walk or you have a nice coffee or whatever, you're going to poop well. If you're super stressed and you produce less serotonin, then your bowel's going to tighten up.
Yeah.
And you're going to be more constipated.
Yeah, and I know this one sounds weird, but I used to kind of like not take the time to poo.
Yeah.
I know that sounds strange,
that's
but
exactly
I'd like
what happened when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'd like rush my shitting because I'd be
How quickly can I get it out?
Yeah, especially when it's the PT in the morning and I'd have PT clients at like 5 a.m. and I'd be like, I haven't really, like, I'll try, but then I'd push and no, nothing. Oh, fuck it, I'll just go to work. Like, and then you're rushing to have a shit between clients and like...
Is that why you've pooed yourself like a few times?
I have not pooed myself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Hey, everyone's pooed themselves at one point in their life.
When they're like 5 months old...
I'm pretty sure you shit yourself for like a good few years as a kid.
I know nothing about kids, so...
You're going to get a rude awakening when we have a child and they poo in your face.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Why?
I don't know.
No. You're like, I'm trying to look at the positives.
Literally a poo face.
Yeah.
So,
how many of you guys have shit yourself? Let us know. We'd love to know.
Slide in the DMs. As an adult, have you shit yourself? I haven't.
No one's going to admit to this.
Well, you admit to it all the time.
Because I'm honest.
And one of your clients' coaches admitted to it.
Who?
Old Hulkinator. Waiting in line at the airport.
Oh, no, that's different. Okay, me and Jess Hull, my coach for Team Round, we both shut ourselves in Bali, okay?
Why?
Because...
Why is this okay?
Because it was Bali.
So?
Everyone shits themselves in
Travelled
Bali.
India for 4 months.
Mine
as a poverty peasant on a bicycle.
Okay, I woke up in the morning and I'd crap the bed.
Yeah.
Jess pooed herself in the...
Because that's normal.
in the line at the airport.
She pooped herself in the line, yeah. Which I can understand.
And this was because we got stuck in Bali in the volcano and we didn't want to lose our spot in line because we would have missed a flight. And so she had to poo herself in that line.
That's dedication.
Yeah. Mine was I had Bali belly and I literally... did poop myself in. Yeah. So, there you go.
No IBS.
I'm cutting out this part of the podcast.
Keep it in. Sharing is caring.
Oh, who hasn't pooped himself with Bali belly, though? Like, you've never had Bali belly.
Me. I've been to Bali, yeah.
Have you had Bali belly?
I've had Delhi belly, which is far worse.
Did you poo yourself?
No, because I'm an adult and I can control my anal sphincter. You know? Anyway, moving on. Anything else? I think that's about it, really.
I don't poo myself on the reg, just FYI.
Yeah, just once a year. So, well, she is 30 now.
You know, I'm really paranoid about having a kid and pooing myself in front of me.
Apparently 99% of people do.
And knowing me, that's 100%. Yeah. Okay, get ready for that. Should we live stream that?
Maybe I'll stay at the head.
Instagram story?
Yeah. Does anyone Instagram story their birth?
No, apparently it's a bit uncouth.
Is it? Oh, that's a great word.
Yeah, thank you.
Uncouth. Well done. All right. IBS guts. So we've gone through the anatomy and physiology. We've talked about IBS symptoms.
Stress, chilling out when you're pooping, water.
Last few words, I would say.
I would say is like, number one, don't go to shit products. Don't go to a product that says it's going to fix everything before you've investigated in more depth all of these things. Although probiotics, the one that I do love, if you are going to want to throw anything in and your diet's pretty good and you've looked at all this stuff, try throw a probiotic in first.
And a lot of people don't eat much live culture foods.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a vegan.
Absolutely, not getting much dairy.
You're not eating the dairy and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can eat the sauerkraut instead. But there you go, there's a probiotic.
I can't really eat much sauerkraut because it's got a lot of cabbage.
Yeah. I think people think the sauerkraut is this magical thing. Oh, I can eat cabbage now. No, it's the same.
Yeah.
You just eat a small amount of it, so it's all right.
Yeah.
You only need like 25 grams of it to get like 25 billion probiotic bacteria. Yeah. So don't eat a lot.
So I think if you're someone that there's certain food groups that you don't consume, then a probiotic would be great.
Yeah.
And if you're having digestive issues, obviously, if you're not, like, don't bother because they're expensive. And then from there, I can't even remember what I was going to say now. I'd say that. Then number 2 would be investigate all of these areas. If you're still confused and still not sure, seek out a professional to help you, absolutely. And then from there, I think just be patient, I think is a big one. I think a lot of people go, oh my God, it's been 2 days and I'm still bloated. It's like, give it a week, give it like even a month, just to kind of be consistent with foods. Don't try to eat all these different foods and try to understand. Eat the same shit for a few days.
Yeah. Your body's very clever. Like, it will eventually go, like homeostasis, it will eventually go back to a good state if you're patient with it. It's like if you train legs, you're going to be sore for 3, 4, 5 days.
Yeah.
You're not going to then panic and think you've torn your leg off.
Or you have inflammation in your gut like you do in your body.
Days and days just from doing a few squats. So if you think about if you fucked up your guts for 6 months to 6 years by eating the wrong things, it's probably going to take a while to fix. But I'd say if you've got some gut issues, don't say, I have IBS, which means that my guts are screwed and I can only eat these foods. It's find out exactly what foods you don't do well with and don't fucking eat them, or eat a lot less of them.
And the other one that I want to say, if you do have IBS like me, I wish I didn't. I wish I could eat whatever I want. Yeah. But I've had to now accept that those foods are pretty much out for the rest of my life. And that's okay. But a lot of clients will say to me, well, how long do I need to eliminate blah, blah, blah for? It's like, no, you're intolerant to it. Yeah. That means don't eat it. It's like saying to someone, you're going to have a heart attack. You shouldn't smoke. Oh, when can I add it back in? No.
You still do. Yeah.
Never. Okay? Yeah. So I think, if you're intolerant to something, stop eating it.
It just sucks, but it sucks being bloated and feeling like shit as well.
Absolutely. Like, I remember, trying my luck with it a little bit off season. I think I had a few slices of bread one day, and I had some cereal that wasn't gluten-free, and had a few different things. And I went to squat, and I put my weight belt on, and I felt like I was going to vomit.
Did you poo yourself again?
No! Okay. I've never pooed myself in the gym.
No.
I've come close in a leg press once.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. I farted.
Bearing down. Oh, that happens.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a yoga instructor, it was pretty much a class of farting.
Yeah, that's why I don't do yoga. I'm not into yoga.
Need some scented candles.
I just think that I prefer to do yoga by myself than in a room of farting people.
Farting people,
Yeah.
And pregnant women.
Yeah, and just people judging you based on your flexibility. Yeah. I'm just not into it. I'm
terrible. This is great. So maybe we just
you know what was the worst? I did Bikram yoga for a while. Yeah. Oh my God, and they yell at you if you go to take a drink of water. And
there's no advantage to Bikram yoga either.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make you any better because you're hotter.
Oh no, I thought I did it for fat loss. This was back in my gimmicky fat loss stages.
I'm hotter, so it must be better.
I went for a 12k run, 30 degrees in Perth, and then I did Bikram for 2 hours.
I'm stupid.
Yeah, passed out.
No water in your hair.
But I look shredded.
Yeah. In veins.
All right, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for this episode. Really, really enjoyed running through gut health. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Leave it a little review on iTunes. Give it a 5-star rating so that we can get our podcast up and going. Be sure you subscribe to it. Share it around with a friend. Tag your friends. Tag your lovers. Whatever that may be. I'm actually going to be running a little 7-day Beat the Bloat. Little free... it's not really a challenge. It's more like a 7-day educational series starting. So this podcast will go up Sunday, so it'll be the following Monday. So you have 7 days to register. So if you want to be a part of it, you can email alice@aliceround.com and just say Beat the Bloat in the headline, and I'll just add you via email address. So all it is I'm just going to be educating women over the 7 days on this stuff in more depth. I'm going to give you some facts sheets, tips, tricks, all of that. And it's all free. So if you want to be a part of it, let me know based on that. We'll be doing some live videos every day and it'll be pretty cool. We might get Shawnee in there as well to have a chit chat to the ladies.
Oh, nice.
No gents, sorry. And anything from you, Jazzy? Anything you're up to?
Not really.
Okay.
Just training people and...
doing your thing?
Getting some gains.
Are you still taking on PT clients at the moment?
I am, yeah. Yes, I do have some more morning spots than anything.
Okay. Still. And online you're doing?
Online I've still got some spaces, yeah. Because I get to a point where I like my workload and then I increase it. And I like it and increase it. And I've just about got to the point where I can increase it.
You're taking on a few more prep clients and nutrition and stuff as well?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nutrition and I love doing training programs and stuff too.
And I don't think I've spoken about next booty camps. Perth, I believe, is sold out completely. 26th and 27th of May.
That's a lot of people that want a big booty.
Yeah, so I think that's 30 sold out for Perth. Sydney for July 15th. I still have about 4 spaces. So I know it's not for a while, but it is selling like hotcakes.
There's only 4 left.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to be a part of that, that's at Squad Gym in New South Wales. And all of the details, again, just email me. I'll flick them through to you. That's with Renee Armstrong. She owns Squad Gym and she is an absolute beast. So that's going to be fun, and that's going to be the day after my show, after WBFF. So you'll be over there too.
Yeah.
The seminar. You'll be walking around with a camera.
I'm in a creep in the corner looking at all of you training your booties.
Training your booties, exactly. All right.
So don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. He'll only be staring at me.
Don't be afraid, children. I have candy.
All right, we'll leave it there.
On that.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will chat to you in the next episode.
See ya.
See ya.